So let's play a little game of pretend today. You can pretend that you are my new client. You've just contacted me and said that you would like to buy a house around 2 million. That's about the median price for a single family home on the Palos Verdes Peninsula. And you want to look at property today, and you would like me to show you houses that are single level and have at least 3 bedrooms, and the price range can be anywhere from, let's say, $1.9 million to 2.2. So I'm going to take you along with me today, and we will look at a few houses that meet this criteria, and I will give you the pros and cons of each property, along with what's good about the location, what might be a bit of a problem for you depending on your circumstances. Some might be better for someone who's retired and ready just to enjoy the privacy of the far side of the Palos Verdes Peninsula. Others may need to catch the freeway. So we're going to say that you're a couple in your 40s and you have one teenage child. So that's a criteria we're going to work with today. Let's go. Okay, we're back from a hot morning, an early afternoon, of looking at property and showing property to my imaginary client. And we looked at one in Valmonte. That is one of the neighborhoods in Palos Verdes Estates. It's a cute 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 2,000 square feet, I think 1887 or something close to that. And upon the approach of the home, it meets the criteria of being a 1 level, although it does have a steep driveway. And so that's a little bit of a negative there because it's a little more difficult to get in and out of the property when you have guests or whatever. Upon entering the house, one of your first comments was that it still has all the old windows. And that is an issue if you have air conditioning or heating, of course. And we do have a lovely climate in Southern California, so we don't have to do too much air conditioning or too much heating. But there is some, and taking into consideration old windows and the rising costs of utilities, that's something to take into consideration. The location is fabulous. It's very close to Torrance Beach, and the teenager in the family will love that, as that's a big hangout for high schoolers in the summertime especially. And then we move through the house. We see that it has a relatively small backyard, but it does open right up to one of the hiking, walking trails, also a horse trail at the back. So you can walk for miles. You don't have to stay in your own backyard. There is some view, it's not a great view day, but it's not a panoramic view. But the location is great for getting into the Hollywood Riviera. And there has been some updating. The kitchen has been updated. The bathrooms have been updated. The main thing that stuck out, I think, was a little bit of a quirky floor plan. Doesn't flow 100% the way we might want it to. And as I mentioned earlier, the older windows. So mark those on your chart before we head on to the next property, which is over on the south side of Palos Verdes, in Rancho Palos Verdes, very near Terranea Resort. Upon entering this house, it seems to me again that there were a lot of people there, so it was really hard to catch the flow of the floor plan. However, I did find myself walking into rooms and backing out, and doing the same when I hit the kitchen. I had to back out of there. So I was not crazy about that floor plan, and it did have, again, some upgrades. I would say it was about on par with the first house, and it also, let me check here just a moment. I had to slip those glasses on to verify the information. And this one also has 3 bedrooms, and it's just over 2,000 square feet. So very similar in size, very similar in the number of bedrooms, and very similar with the condition. This one does, however, have a pool. It is on the south side of the hill, and that is known to have some of the best weather. As a matter of fact, we often refer to it as the resort side of the hill because that's where Terranea and Trump National Golf Course are both located. It's a great location as far as the weather goes. So this one, again, quirky floor plan, A little bit larger, but nothing that you would really notice. But the outstanding thing here is that it did have a swimming pool. Now, if that's a yes for this particular client, that's wonderful, because that certainly puts it near the top of the list if that is one of their must-haves. However, swimming pools are split about 50-50. About half the people want one, the other half say, I don't want one, don't even show me. Oh, there's that garbage truck again. Don't even show me a property that has a pool. Been there, done that, don't want to spend my time skimming a swimming pool, la-di-da-di-da. So let's go on to the next one. The last one is in Rancho Palos Verdes, and it is right off of Crest near Mira Catalina Elementary School. This one is not as upgraded, however, the square footage is larger. Again, let me check. Yep, it's a whopping almost 3,000 square feet, which is a huge difference between the other two. However, it's not as upgraded as the two previous properties that we've looked at. But you immediately, upon entering, find that you feel like you have more flow, formal dining room, family room, formal living room, and this one has the best view. It has some view of the harbor and some city lights and mountains, so it has a really nice view. But keep in mind, there will be some updating to do here. However, this property also has a great pool. It's a nice pool that's actually what I would call a swimming pool, not just a floating, lounging pool. And the downside of this one is, other than it needs some upgrading, is that it has a very steep driveway and not a lot of parking on the property. You would have to park a spare car, or guests might even have to park in the cul-de-sac and hike up that hill. So that would be a turnoff to some people. So now let's talk about price. These homes are all priced very close to one another, right around $2.1 million. So what you have to ask yourself now as a prospective buyer, do I want to do some work and have a larger house and get the swimming pool and a view? Or do I want a cute little Valmonte home that's close to Torrance Beach and Hollywood Riviera and very close to Malaga Cove and more in the heart of Palos Verdes than perhaps the other two are? Or are you at the point in your life where you want to kick back, kind of settle in, take it easy on the resort side of the hill? Maybe have dinner, lunch, or even breakfast at Terranea or Trump's, play a round of golf, go for a hike along the bluffs, and enjoy your little beachy house, which has a little bit of a modern flair. But again, it needs a little ironing out of that floor plan, but it could be a fabulous house. And it too has a pool, more of a lounging pool rather than a swimming pool. So those are your choices. Price range is about the same. Locations are all very different, and the homes are very different. So you have to decide, what are my priorities? And then once you decide that, we can decide which one best meets your criteria and will serve as the best place for you and your family to live. Once that decision is made, then we're ready to write the offer. So that's how we go about deciding whether the house is the right one for you, or whether it's an okay house, but it simply just isn't your cup of tea. So if you would like to work with me on finding your new home, just let me know, reach out and contact me, and we'll get started right away.